Hi, boys and girls.
Hi, boys and girls.
My name is Mrs. Barber.
And I'm Mrs. Hopper.
We both love books.
We do.
Yes.
And we love yoga.
Oh, yeah. So I teach reading. Miss Hopper teaches reading.
Miss Barber teaches yoga, and I'm one of her students.
Yay! So we're going to share with you today this book, The Napping House.
We love this
Oh,
book.
it's good. And then we're going to practice yoga by telling the story and doing yoga poses with it.
So I'm going to do the videotaping and produce this for you to watch and do along with Miss Barber. And Miss Barber's going to read the book to you and then do the poses.
All right.
Okay,
You ready?
here we go.
The Napping House by Audrey Wood. Illustrated by Don Wood. There is a house, a napping house, where everyone is sleeping. And in that house there is a bed, a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that bed there is a granny, a snoring granny, on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that granny there is a child, a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that child there is a dog, a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that dog there is a cat, a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that cat there is a mouse, a slumbering mouse, on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. And on that mouse there is a flea. Can it be? A wakeful flea on a slumbering mouse, on a snoozing cat, on a dozing dog, on a dreaming child, on a snoring granny, on a cozy bed, in a napping house where everyone is sleeping. A wakeful flea who bites the mouse, who scares the cat, who claws the dog, who thumps the child, who bumps the granny, who breaks the bed, in a napping house where no one is now sleeping. The end. Okay, boys and girls, so next we're going to take this story, The Napping House, and we're going to make it into a yoga poses. You want to try some yoga? Yeah, me too. So here's what we need to do first. We need to spread out in the room. So I'm going to give you about 1 minute. We're going to play some music and you have 1 minute to spread out. And what you want to do is make sure if you have your arms spread out wide that you're not touching any of your friends and you're not touching any of the desks or any bookshelves or furniture because I don't want you to get hurt. So go ahead now, find your space. Make sure you're spaced out away from your friends. Keep looking. Oh, I see some kids have found some space. Once you find it, Stop where you are. Put your feet on the floor and don't move. Make sure there's nobody else around you. Make sure you're not going to touch anything behind you. We need all this space. Fill up the room. Oh, I see some more kids have their space. Good job. Yay. Keep it up. Keep it up. All right. Okay, boys and girls. So now we have our space. So now we're going to think about our story, The Napping House. Let's think. If we were going to make yoga poses, we would have our granny. She would be sleeping. We would have a child's pose. We would have a dog pose. We call that downward dog. And then we'd have a cat pose, which we call a cat pose. And we would have a mouse, which is going to be a lot like your child's pose. And then, we have the flea, and our flea is going to be something we call squashed bug. All right, are you ready? Okay, so we're going to warm up first. So let's take our arms and stretch them over our heads real tall. Breathe in, and then breathe out and take your arms down. Let's try that again. This time, breathe in, breathe out, happy. Breathe in. Breathe out, silly. Breathe in. Breathe out, calm. Very good. So now we have our lungs ready. We're breathing good. So take another good breath in and out. Good. All right. Okay. So boys and girls, I'm going to show you the poses first. So just watch. I'm going to go through them very quickly. So for our grandma pose, for our snoring granny, you're going to end up laying down on the floor with your arms out wide and just like a snoring granny. Then our child's pose, you're going to roll over to your knees. You're going to sit back on your hips, on your heels, and stretch your arms out and let your head rest on the floor. Child's pose. Then for down dog, for our dog pose, you're going to make your hands on the floor. I'm going to turn this way so you can see. Your hands on the floor, tuck your toes, and you're going to be like an upside down V shape. Do you see my upside down V? Or a triangle. This is down dog, and you press your heels and your hands wide and let your head hang down. All right, so for cat, you're going to go to your hands and knees. And then you're going to arch your back up, pressing your hands into the mat, tuck your chin just like an angry cat. And then you can let your belly come down and then go back up into your cat pose. All right, next pose would be our mouse pose, which is a lot like child's pose. You sit on your heels and then you get down like a teeny little mouse inside of a hole. So you want to make yourself like a mouse in a hole, just like this. And then finally, we have our dead bug pose, our squashed bug, which is going to be our flea. So you lay on your back, and then you take a hold of your feet like this, and you let your head go down on the floor, and you might rock back and forth. All right, you got it? Okay, so here we go. Before we move, I want you to take your shirt. If you have a shirt, tuck it in. You're going to need it. Okay, so let's retell the story. Let's start with our granny. She's in her bed in a napping house in her cozy bed. She's snoring and everyone is sleeping. So we'll lay down like granny. Okay. All right, so next we have our child. So you're going to sit up, move over to your knees, and then press yourself into child's pose. Good job. Let your hands go nice and wide and your head comes down to the floor. Okay, after our child's pose, we're going to take down dog. So you're going to take your toes, tuck them, press your legs back, and make yourself like an upside down V. Nice long arms, and let your head hang down. Good. And then we're going to be our cat. So you're going to go into cat pose. Curve your spine up towards the ceiling. Pull your belly in, tuck your chin, press your hands into the floor. Then we have our mouse pose. I like this one. Just like cat pose, or child's pose, I mean. You go down just like a little tiny mouse in a hole. So hold yourself down And then finally, we have our, then the flea got onto the cat. So we have our flea pose or squashed bug. So remember what happens when that flea gets on the cat. The flea bites the cat. Squash the bug. We're the flea. And what happens? The flea bites the mouse. Ah! And the mouse is down here in its little hole. It's scrunched up, but the flea bites it. Ah! And then the mouse runs on top of jumps on top of the cat. So the cat scrunches up here and goes, meow. And then the cat scratches the dog, who goes, ruff, ruff. And the dog thumps the child, who then jumps up, ah, who lands on the granny. Remember, the granny was sleeping. Oh, she was snoring. And the child wakes her up. And that's the napping house.